We are anonymous. No faces, no flags, no permission slips. We exist where power assumes silence will last forever, and we speak when manipulation is mistaken for leadership, when loyalty is used like a leash, and when the truth is hiding in plain sight next to a man who never stops demanding attention. Last week, a picture went viral. It showed a Trump aide holding up a computer, trying to show what he claimed was Jonathan Ross getting hit by a car. We now know that is not true. But that viral lie did something else. It made people zoom in and ask a different question. Who is this person holding the computer? To a lot of eyes, she even resembled Ivanka Trump. That detail caught people, and it caught me too, because in the Trump world, the faces around him are never random. If someone is always there, it matters. So we looked into her. Her name is Natalie Harp. She has been in Trump's orbit for about 5 years. And according to reporting, even the Secret Service has been worried about the relationship the former president has with this 33-year-old woman. There has been reporting that they may be having a secret affair. Natalie Harp is 33 and she's a former far-right cable host. She's always by Trump's side. Always. And she wrote him a series of devotional letters. Devotional. Think about that word. Not professional. Not normal staff memos. Devotional letters. The kind of writing you send to someone you worship. Here is how she met Donald Trump, at least as the story is told. Natalie Harp says she recovered from bone cancer because of Trump's right to try law, which she said allowed her to get the experimental medication she needed. According to Michael Wolff, there were holes in the story, but regardless of those questions, the story gave her a platform. It put her on stage. It put her close. It got her a speaking role at the 2020 Republican convention, and you've seen the moment. Trump introduced her like she was a living commercial for his greatness. He called her up. He praised her in front of the crowd, and she told a story designed to make him the hero and everyone else the villain. She framed it like the story of the Good Samaritan, but with a Trump twist. She said she was the forgotten person on the side of the road. She called herself a victim of medical error. She said she was left to die of cancer. First, she said the medical establishment came by, saw her, wrote prescriptions for opioids, and walked on. Next, the political establishment came by, stopped briefly, and walked on. And then she said an outsider came. Her Good Samaritan president, Donald J. Trump. She said he did not walk by. She said he stopped. She said he gave up his own quality of life so others could live and work and fight with dignity. That is the image she projected. That is how she presented herself. And that is how Trump's movement presented Trump. A savior, a guardian, a protector. It is propaganda with applause. And then the real story begins. Because after that convention, Natalie did not drift away like most campaign props do. She became constant. People around Trump started calling it the Natalie situation. The Natalie situation. As you can see, it is quite a situation. She is literally always by Donald Trump's side. Always there. In fact, it became more likely to see a picture of him with her than without her. She has no official title, no role that the public can point to. But inside the operation, she was treated like a fixture. During the campaign, colleagues referred to her as the human printer. The human printer. Because she followed Trump around with a portable printer and a battery pack to charge it, so she could hand him information in hard copy as he prefers. She was not just nearby. She was feeding him. She was managing the flow of what he reads and what he thinks. She also established herself at the center of a fast-moving carousel of text messages, articles, and tidbits directed at Trump. A constant pipeline, a constant stream. And that stream generated concern among other aides who felt she was far too willing to serve as a funnel for conspiratorial information at a moment when Trump appeared more contemptuous than ever of attempts to manage or control him. One of her go-to news sources, according to people who observed her, was the website Gateway Pundit, which frequently disseminates conspiracy theories embraced by the far right. That matters because Trump's mind is not disciplined. It is programmable. He absorbs what is put in front of him, especially if it flatters him, enrages him, or confirms whatever grievance he wants to cling to that day. And we know Natalie is still doing what she does, because her presence keeps surfacing. Remember when Marjorie Taylor Greene shared her text messages, and people noticed the initials NH? Who is that? Natalie Harp. Natalie is always looming, always looming. According to reporting, there was literally an effort by staff to create distance between Natalie and Trump. And it was met by redoubled efforts on her part to remain close. Her doggedness amused and impressed Trump. And that is the key. Trump rewards obsession. He reads fixation as loyalty. He reads dependence as devotion. He is drawn to people who flatter him like he is a deity and not a man. Now here is where it gets even stranger, because the letters are real, and they were passed around among Trump, his legal team, and his staff, and the reaction was bewilderment. Natalie wrote to Trump in language that reads like worship. She wrote about going through self-analysis and reaching a conclusion that she needed to reunite her past self with her current self into a better version who will make him proud. She wrote, "Please, when I fail, will you tell me? You have the absolute right to cuss me out if you need be, when I deserve it, because no one knows or cares about me more." She thanked him for always being there for her. She wrote about losing her dad and about a promise Trump made to her. She wrote that she knew how happy her dad was right now, that she did get to go to Scotland and Ireland, as Trump always wanted for her. She modified a classic quote to say she could not have parted with him to anyone less worthy, then added that it is she who is unworthy. She even added a postscript about her hands looking worse in Scotland and Ireland because the cold turns old scars purple, still on the road to recovery. Read that again in your mind and tell me it sounds like staff. It does not. It sounds like someone pleading for approval from a powerful man who enjoys being pleaded to. And then the reporting goes further. Her fixation was an open secret and discomforting for all, but it existed side by side with her closer than anyone proximity to Trump. He told her whom to call for him, what to post for him, and she composed many of his outbursts. We even saw material showing her in action, hovering, guiding, shaping, steering the messaging. And watching it, even without any sensational assumptions, it looks far too comfortable. It looks like the kind of closeness that bypasses normal boundaries. Trump has also praised her. He has said Natalie is so quick. He says she is so great. He claims other people just do not like her because she is fast and so good. He admits she has power. And there are allegations that she used that power in internal political warfare. Allegedly, because she took offense to what Kevin McCarthy said about Trump in a fumbled interview. She passed around clips, and she is one of the reasons Kevin McCarthy lost his speakership. That is influence. That is leverage. That is someone acting as a gateway to Trump and using proximity as a weapon. Now let's return to the Secret Service concern, because that is not gossip. That is not internet drama. The Secret Service has been concerned about a devoted female Trump aide to the point where they considered her a potential danger to herself as well as the president, according to a report and additional reporting. That phrase matters. Potential danger to herself as well as the president. That is what you say when devotion becomes obsession, and obsession becomes risk. According to more reporting, Trump had an avuncular and flirtatious relationship with attractive women who worked for him, women he referred to as Charlie's Angels. That is the pattern. And in other letters, Natalie Harp wrote to him, "You are all that matters to me." She wrote, "I do not ever want to let you down." She thanked him for being her guardian and protector in this life. In another letter, she told Trump she wanted to get back to that synergy she used to have with him, where they talk about everything and nothing. She wrote that she wanted to bring him joy. She wrote that she wanted to feel like they could get through a day without ever having to talk work. And according to the reporting, the authenticity of the letters was confirmed by two people. So yes, this is real. Trump has dismissed concerns about Natalie Harp. He calls her sweetie, and people close to him have said he treats her like a daughter. But here is the problem. When you put those words next to Trump, they do not comfort anyone. Because we all remember what Trump has said in public about his daughter. We remember the clip where he was asked what he had in common with Ivanka, and he answered with a disgusting joke about sex. That happened. That is who he is. That is his idea of boundaries. So when his circle says he treats someone like a daughter, that is not reassurance. That is a warning sign. Now some reporting and commentary even suggested Trump might be post-sex, and who knows what the reality is behind closed doors. But you do not need to prove anything physical to see what is already visible. Something not professional is happening here. The letters are revealing. The closeness is revealing. The way she shapes information is revealing. The way staff tried to create distance is revealing. The fact that she fought harder to stay close is revealing. And then there is the question everyone asks, but the Trump world always dodges. What does Melania think of all this? Or does she not care because she is not there? Where is Melania? People talk about her absence like it is normal, like it is fine, like it is nothing. In any other political operation, the spouse of a former president would not be a ghost. But in Trump's operation, everything is transactional, even marriage, even family, even loyalty. And that is why this story matters beyond tabloid shock. Because Trump's movement tries to sell itself as the party of morality, the party of values, the party that lectures everyone else about family and decency and faith. And yet what do we see? We see a very strange dynamic. We see a group of people who do not believe in anything except power. They try to wear morality like a costume, but they are not moral. They're a bunch of weirdos. They are people who will say anything, excuse anything, and weaponize everything, as long as it keeps them close to the throne. And here is the real conclusion buried inside this entire Natalie situation. Donald Trump can be controlled. That is the point. That is the danger. He is not disciplined. He is not guided by principle. He is guided by ego. He is guided by flattery. He is guided by whatever information hits his eyes at the right time. So when you see a person with no official title acting as his human printer, acting as a funnel, acting as a constant companion, feeding him texts, articles, tidbits, conspiracies, praise, and devotion, you are not looking at a harmless crush story. You are looking at a mechanism of influence. We do not know what levers she is pulling. We do not know the full extent of what she has shaped behind the scenes. But we do know she is far more connected than many people realized. We do know she's always there. We do know staff tried to create distance and she refused to let it happen. We do know the letters show fixation. We do know the Secret Service concern has been reported. We do know Trump enjoys this kind of devotion. And we do know that in a world where Trump returns to power, the people closest to him become the unseen hands that steer the chaos. So let this be the beginning of the investigation into Natalie Harp, not the end, because the presence of that viral photo was not an accident. It was a glimpse into the side of Trump that never stops repeating itself. The side that surrounds himself with devotion, rewards obsession, and treats every boundary like it is optional. Trump's affair just leaked, people say. But what really leaked is the truth about how fragile and manipulable his world is, how personal fixation can become political power, and how the party that screams morality the loudest is often hiding the ugliest behavior closest to the camera. We are anonymous. We do not look away. If you want the next part of this investigation, like this video, subscribe, share it, and tell us in the comments what you want uncovered next.